This conference will now be recorded.
Right. So in yesterday's session, we have started with smartphones. So we understood that a smartphone is a word processing tool used for designing the templates of the business documents. Okay. So what is the transaction code for smartphones? Smartphones itself. So if you go to smartphones transaction code, yesterday we have designed this smartphone ZS Form 1. Okay. ZS Form 1 is the smartphone we have designed, and as part of this smartphone, by default, we understood that we'll have one page. Under this page, by default, you'll have the main window. Okay, under this one page, you'll have the main window. The window type is what? Main window. Then we have this text element T1. Okay, this is a text element. So yesterday we have created the text element to display the static text we have displayed yesterday. And we understood that whenever we activate the smartphone, a function model gets generated. Okay, that function model we have to call it from the executable program. So whichever program is invoking that smartphone, we call that as what? A driver program, or we call it as what? A print program. Driver program or print program. Okay, so what is the program we have created yesterday? Z call S form 1. This is the program we have created. So as part of this, initially we directly called the smartphone function model. Right? We directly called the smartphone function model, and we understood why it is recommended not to call the smartphone function model directly, because whenever we activate when we transport the smartphone to the quality system, in the quality system, whenever that smartphone is activated, a different function model will be generated, and that function model name depends on what? The function model name depends upon the client. So in 800 client, the function model name might be different. In another client, the function model name might be different. So that is the reason we will never call the smartphone function model directly. Instead, we will call the function model SSF function model name, which will take the smartphone name as input and returns the associated function model. Okay, so once you receive the smartphone function model, we are just invoking the smartphone function model. Okay, so let us see another example. In continuation to the yesterday's example, let us discuss one more example. Yeah. So this is the requirement. In yesterday's case, we have not passed any parameters to our smartphone. We understood that a smartphone is nothing but a function model. Whenever we activate the smartphone, a function model gets what? Generated. Right? And we already know how to deal with the parameters related to what? Function model. Okay, so here also my requirement is from our driver program, that is from the print program, from wherever you are calling the smartphone, we call it as a driver program. We need to read a sales document number as input, and whenever I execute this driver program, we should pass the sales document number as a parameter to what? A smartphone. Okay, we have to pass sales document number as a parameter to the smartphone. Now at the smartphone level, Based on the sales document number, I have to get the sales document header data. It is there in which table? VBAK table. And then I have to get the sales document item data, which is there in what? VBAP table. So the smart form should read the sales document as input. It has to receive that particular sales document. Based on that, we have to retrieve the sales document header data and sales document item data. So from the header table, I want to get sales document number, creation date, creation time, and created by. And from the item table, I have to get the sales document number, item number, material number, and each line item contains what? Net price. So 4 columns I have to display. So if you see the header record, we know the relationship between VBAK table and VBAP table. Sales document header data, sales document item data. What are the common fields between these two tables? Sales document number. In VBAK, we have sales document number. In VBAP also, we have what? Sales document number. So this is the relationship between the two tables. And we already know header data means you'll have one record, item data means you may have multiple records. So each sales order of VBAK table can contain one or more line items in VBAP table. Okay, so header record is always one. Item records can be one or more. So if it is one or more, okay, I should what display this in this particular format. Okay, so if you to deal with one or more records, obviously we have to go for what? Internal tables. Right? You have to store the item data in the internal table, and we need to loop that item data internal table and display the content. So this is the overall requirement. So in this example, we are going to understand how to pass parameters to the smart form, how to write the select queries at smart form level, and how to display the data from different variables. It can be from a work area or it can be from an internal table. So multiple things are covered in this particular example. Right. So any questions related to this part? Right. So what you have to do here, we need to create the smart form which has to take sales document number as input. Based on the sales document number, I have to retrieve the header data from VBAK table and sales document item data from VBAP table. Means I need to write the select query at the smart form level, and what are the header data and item data that we are going to retrieve, we should display it in the layout. So for displaying anything, we require what? Window, and in that window to display any content, yesterday we went for a text element. Here also I should create a text element to display the data. And in this smart form, you can see I also want to print the system date. So if it is a normal ABAP program, how do we refer to the system field? We have an ABAP system field site datum. Similarly, in smart form also, we have some smart form related system fields. So I need to refer to some system field and display the system date. So this is the overall requirement. You have to show the header data and the item data. Okay, so already we know the relationship between VBAK and VBAP table. So once again, if you see, if you go to ABAP dictionary, SC11, the VBAK table, sales document header data, sales document header data, we have what? Client field and a VBL. What is the sales document number, right? And we have another table, the VBAP, which stores what? Sales document item data. Sales document item data. Here also we have what? VBL, item number, sales document number. So if you see any record here, Suppose in the VBAK table, if I go to contents, how many entries are there? We have around 68 entries. Let me execute. So they are the sales document numbers. Okay. Let me take one of the sales document. Yeah, I'll take this sales document number 1. Do we have any item data in VBAP table? Yeah, we have 71 records. So if I execute, 1 second. Let me take a sales document which has got multiple items. Yeah. So here. Okay. So if I take sales document number 1 from VBAK table, let's see how many items are in the VBAP table. So in VBAP table, if I get a sales document number as 1, execute, it has got only one line item. Item number is 10. This is a material number. Okay. Similarly, from the VBAK table, I'll take the sales document number 9. So in the item table, if I do the sales document number as 9, how many entries are there? Only one entry. So this sales document also has got only one line item. Okay, in the VBAK table, right? In the VBAK table, I'm having one sales document 30. Okay, so header data means you'll have only one record. So this entire thing is one record. So for this sales document number 30, let me check how many items are there in VBAP table. In the VBAP table now, if I give 30 here, how many entries are there? Two entries are there, two items are there. So when I execute, yes, for the same sales document number 30, we have two line items. Okay, 10 and what? 20. Understood. So what is the relationship? Each sales document of VBAK table can contain one or more line items. Can contain one or more line items. Okay. So let's see how to design this. So what we have to do now? First, let us design the smart form. Okay. So I'll go to the smart forms T code. Here we have to provide the form name. Since it is a custom smart form name, I'll start with Z. I'll give the name as something Z as form 2. Z as form 2 is the name of the smart form. Let us create. Yeah. In the form attributes, okay, I'll just give the description. Parameters to smart form. And here we'll have the general attributes, we'll have the admin information, which user has created, on which date, which time, all those things. Okay. Right. So we understood yesterday that a smart form is nothing but a function model. So how do you pass parameters to a function model? Through import parameters. We have import, export, changing tables. So if you want to pass a parameter, we'll go for what? Import. So here also, in the form interface level, we have import, export, tables, and exception. In the import section, already there are some parameters which are provided by SAP. All these parameters are not optional. So what is my requirement? From the driver program, we are going to pass a sales document number. Sales document number. So I'll try to take one import parameter. So in the import section, yesterday we have not defined any parameters. Now I'm creating the smart form with parameters. So in the import section, I'll say I underscore VBLN type VBLN, or if you want, you can refer to the data element also. What is the data element of VBLN? I think VBLN underscore VA. What is the data element? VBLN underscore. So just like in the programs, we'll say table name hyphen field name, or we'll say table name hyphen field name, or I can refer to what data element. Anything is fine. So I'll go for VBAK-VBL. I don't want to put any default value. I'm not selecting the checkbox optional. So if I don't select the checkbox optional, what is the meaning here? It is a mandatory. If it is a mandatory parameter, compulsory we have to pass the value at the time of calling. Understood? So in the import section, I've taken one parameter of type VBAK-WebLand. So based on the sales document number, what the smart form has to do, it has to get the header data and what item data. So header data means you'll have only one record for each sales document. Item data means we may have one or more items. So for header data, I require one work area. For item data, I require one internal table. Already we know what is the standard way of declaring a work area and internal table. First we'll create what? Types. Based on the type structure, we'll create the work areas and what? Internal table. So here also. So what are the parameters you have to pass that you have to specify in what form interface. Now in the global definition section, left hand side, in the global definitions, we have different global data, types, fields, symbols, all those things. What is our agenda? We require one work area based on VBAK fields and one internal table and work area based on what item data fields. So first you require the type structure. So in the global definitions, in the you declare the required type structure with the required fields. So from the header data, I want 4 fields. So let me declare the structure. I'll set underscore some name. I'll give VBAK. What are the fields I want to declare? In the output, I want sales document number, creation date, creation time, and created by. So what are the fields here? Webland type, VBAK hyphen, Webland. Creation date, ERDAT. VBAK hyphen, ERDAT. ERZET type, VBAK hyphen, ERZET. Name type, VBAK hyphen, ERNA. And close the VBAK. So I created one types structure based on VBAK fields. Similarly, let us create another type underscore VBAP. Right, I'll declare what are the fields you want from the item data, sales document number, item number, material number, net price. Okay, so VBL and type VBAP and Webland, item number type VBAP item number, and take another field, material number type VBAP and material number. Go to VBAP table and check for the fields. Another field is what NET is there, NET both are there. So if you go to VPAP table, okay, so if I search, we have filled NETWR. NETWR. What is this here? Net value of the order item. NETWR is there, which is currency of 15, and NETPR is there. NETPR is also currency net price. I can refer to any of the fields. So let me go for NETPR. So I'll say NETPR type VBAP-NETPR. Close the type structure. Global definition section, the types tab, I created the required type structure. Okay, done. Let me save it. Yeah. Okay, so based on this fields, I require work area because you'll have only one record for each sales document. You'll have only one header record for each sales document. Per item, I may have one or more items. That is the reason I should declare internal table. So where do we declare that? In the types tab, you have to declare the types. Now go to global data tab. In the global data tab, here you declare the required work areas and internal tables. I'll say W underscore VBAK The type I created just now, TY underscore VBA. Then for item data, I may have multiple items. So I require internal table. So T underscore VBAP. Here you have to type table of TY underscore VBA. We have to loop this internal table means we require a work area. So let me declare a work area W underscore VBAP type TY underscore VBAP. So based on header structure, I declared a work area. Based on item structure, I declare an internal table and work area. Type table of nothing but what? Internal. Right? So in this, whenever you want to deal with parameters to smart form, that you have to specify in what? Form interface in the import section. Since I want to pass only sales document number, how do you pass parameters to function? Import parameters only, no? Right? If you want to return, we'll go for export. If you want to deal with internal tables, we'll go for tables. Right? In the global definitions, I created the required type structure with the required fields. Based on this local type structure, I declared some internal tables and work areas. Any queries up to this point? Yes, Abhishek, any questions? Yeah, is my voice is clear and audible to everyone? Hello,
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
not clear. What about others? Is it clear?
Yes, sir. It's clear and audible.
Sir.
Yeah, for some of them it is clear it seems. Sometimes lower. Okay, now is it fine? Is it louder and clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
One second, just hold on. Is it clear now? Is it clear? Vasanthi, is it clear? Is it louder and clear? Rohit? Okay, stop me if any disturbance is there, okay? Okay, right. So I'll just summarize once again. What I did so far, I did a smart form. Since I want to pass sales document number as a parameter to smart form, okay, since you have to pass sales document number as parameter to smart form, we are in the import section, we are passing the sales, we are declaring the sales document number. Then we require some internal tables and work area. So as part of global definitions, in the types tab, I created the required type structure. Based on the type structure, I declared some internal tables and work areas. Now at the smart form level itself, I need to get the data from what? VBAK table and VBAP table. Okay, so how do we do it? In the global definitions only, we have the initialization tab. Okay, in the initialization tab, Understood? In the initialization tab, input parameter. So based on which sales document number we have to get the header data and item data, we are passing it through form interface. We have specified that in the form interface. What is that parameter? I underscore weblen. So in the global definitions, in the initialization tab, right, in the input parameters, I'll specify that parameter. I'll say I underscore VBL. Output parameter means based on this input parameter, I'll get the header data and work area. I'll get the header data and item data. Header data I'll retrieve in W underscore VBAK. Item data we are going to retrieve in what? T underscore VBAP. So for that reason, what you have to do in the initialization tab in the output parameter section, right? I'll declare what output parameters which you want to return from here, right? W underscore VBAK, and I'm going to retrieve the item data into which internal table? T underscore VBA. Okay. Yesterday's recording text is not clear. Okay, I'll try to re-upload that. Let me check what is the issue. Where we are now. So in the initialization tab, I declared one input parameter and one work area and what internal table. Okay, so let us get the data. So header data means you will have only one record now in the VBAK table. For every sales document, you will have only one record. So already we know how do we retrieve single record by using what? Select single. Select single. What are the fields you want to get? Sales document number, creation date, creation time, created by, from which table? From VBAK table into work area. What is the work area? W underscore VBAK, where with what field you have to compare? Weblen, where weblen equal to the input parameter I underscore weblen. So understood. Already we know to retrieve a single record from the table, we have to use select single, and whenever we use select single, it is recommended to compare with what? Primary key field. What is the primary key field in VBAK table? Weblen. So based on that weblen, based on the input value, we are getting the header data. Okay, if the select is successful, if size of RC is equal to 0, means if the header data is available, if the header data is available, then only the item data would be available. So I'll try to get the item data. So item data means I may have one or more items. So how do you get multiple records? Select. What are the fields you want to get? VBLN. What are the fields I declared? POSNR, material number, net price. Net price from VBAP table into table. What is the internal table? T underscore VBAP, where weblen equal to the input parameter I underscore weblen. And for if is not end. So in the initialization tab, I am trying to get the header data. If the header data is available, I am trying to get the item data into the internal header data into the work area, and item data there is a possibility of retrieving multiple records. So I should go for what? Internal table. Let me save it. Check for the syntax error. No errors. Active errors. So as of now, there are no errors. Any questions so far? Any questions? Yeah, is the voice is clear now to everyone? Or still it is low?
No, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Clear.
Clear, na? Okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I repeat once again, if you want to deal with any parameters in smart form, okay, we have to declare the parameter in what? In the form interface. So since I want to pass sales document number, I declare that in the import tab. What is the parameter? I_webnet. So based on this parameter only, I need to fetch the header data and item data, sales document header data and item data. So header data is available in VBAK table, item data is not VBAP table. So for every sales document, you'll have only one header record, and for each header record, I may have one or more item records. So since I require some internal tables and work areas, as usual, we'll create them on top of type structure. So the global definitions, in the types tab, I declare the required types. Based on these types, I declared what? Work areas and internal table. In the initialization event, it is asking for input and output. Input means on which parameter you want to get the data. Based on this parameter, after retrieving, you have to return that data for display. So that you have to specify the output parameters. In the output parameters, I specified the work area related to the VBAK and internal table related to what? VBA. Right? So I got the data. So once the data is successfully retrieved, I need to display it now. So yesterday we understood for displaying any content in the smart form, we require one window. Right? By default, our smart form contains what? One window. What is the window name? Main window. What is the window type? Main window. So what are the content you want to show? Okay, that you have to put it in the window. By default, I'm having one window. So to show any content, I require a text element now. So let me create the text element. I'll create the text element. So right click on the main window, create what? Text. Understood? So to show any text content, I need to create the text object. So I'll right click on the main window, create what? Text. I'm creating the text object. Done. So it will open the word tool here. Open the word tool. So what you have to do now, go to what? Text editor. You have to change the editor now. So go to text editor. For this text element, what is the name proposed here? Percentage text one. Right? So if you want, you can change the name. So I'll give it as something T1. Right? So I'll say something sales document data. Meaningful description. So text object name is T1. Let us open a different editor and click on the button text editor. Yeah, you'll get something like this. You have to choose the menu, go to what? Change editor. So here I have to show the content. So let me, I want to show some system date. So what I will do, somewhere here, right hand side, I'll say date. I want to give the system date. Instead, I want to give the system date. So how do you give the system date is, as of now, I don't have save button, I'll go back. So if it is ABAP program, I can refer to the system field site datum. Now there's a smart form now. So what I have to do is, smart form system field starts with SFSY. So you can see here, observe this carefully. On the application toolbar, I'm having a button what? Field list on or off. Field list on or off. If I click on this button, field list on or off, you can see at the bottom, it is showing that import parameter, the export parameter, global data and system fields. Again, if I click on this button, it gets disappeared. So it's a toggle button. So I'll just click on this button. So you can see here, if I expand this system fields, if I expand the system fields, you can see it is starting with what? SFSY. If I expand this, we have different system fields there. I want the date. So right to the date, we have a field what? Date. So how do you refer to that? SFSY-date. So in smart form, if you want to display the content of any field, it can be our own field or a system field. right? What you have to do is, let me go back to the editor. And so go back to the editor, or else I'll do one thing. Yeah, go back to the editor. Or do you go back to the editor, text editor? So if you want to show the content of any field, it can be our own field or a system field. That field you have to enclose in ampersand. So I'll choose go to change editor. So here I'll say date ampersand sfsy hyphen. What is that field you are seeing? Date. Understood? The variables should be enclosed in ampersand in smart form. If you want to show the content, if you want to display the content of any variable, it can be our program variable or it can be a system field. That variable should be enclosed in what? Ampersand. And at the bottom, I want to